Alright guys, my name is Shervin. Welcome back to my channel. The MBNA True Line Mastercard is the best balance transfer credit card in Canada. Now, a balance transfer credit card is a very good option to have in case you have some credit card debt that you can't pay off right away. Now, of course, we always want to pay off our credit card balance on time and in full, but people make mistakes, things happen. Sometimes there's an emergency spending that comes up and you don't necessarily have the cash right away. If you end up in a situation like that, of course, it's best to prevent stuff like that from happening. But in case that happens to you, there are specific tools that can help you with managing that debt and being able to pay it off for as little interest as possible. And one of the best tools, I should say, is using a balance transfer credit card that allows you to have a promotional period of no interest on that balance. Now, the MBNA True Line Mastercard offers this amazing promotional interest rate of 0% for a full year. That means that if you have a balance on your credit card, you could transfer it over to this card, and for a full year, you wouldn't pay any interest on it. You have to pay a small transfer fee, but that is only 3%. So right here, you can see in the fine print that for any balance transfer, there is a 3% fee that you pay for bringing the balance over, and that applies to the entire amount. Now, a minimum fee of $3.50 will be applied. So if you're transferring over, let's say, I don't know, $70, $80, then it's going to be $3.50. If it's above like $100 something, then it's going to be just 3% of whatever the balance is. Now, you might be thinking, oh, but I'm paying a fee to bring the balance over, so is it really worth it to do this? Well, given how high the interest rates on most credit cards are, it could very well be. Now, if you watch the end of the video, I'm going to show you some examples of what a huge difference it can make if you transfer your balance from your normal credit card to a card like this. But first, let's take a closer look at the card itself. It has no annual fees. The annual interest rate after that first year, so for the first year, you have that promotional rate of 0% for anything you transfer over. But even after that, it's at a 13% interest rate, which is quite lower than most other cards. Again, we'll take a closer look at that in a second, but that's basically what this card offers. One thing you need to keep in mind is that whenever you open the card, you have 90 days to do all the balance transfers. Now, you could transfer balance from different cards or different loans, whatever you have. It doesn't have to be all from one, but you basically have 90 days to make sure you have all the balance transfers done and all the balances are now on this new card. And once you do that, again, for 12 months, you don't have to pay any interest on that. You get a 0% promotional rate. You only pay the 3% balance transfer fee. Now, the card doesn't really have any other features. It just is the lower interest rate and that promotional rate. But again, that could make a big difference. Keep in mind that most cards have a much higher interest rate than any of these numbers. Now, if you look at the Cobalt card over here on my website, by the way, shervinhouse.com, if you haven't checked it out, it says that it has a 22% interest rate. So if you carry a balance, meaning you don't pay off your balance on time and in full on a credit card, like for example, the Cobalt card, which is a very popular credit card, you would have to pay 22% on interest, which is just insane. Now, I do have this other calculator on my website. It's a credit card balance transfer calculator, which can help you kind of get an understanding of what the difference can be. Now, again, as we saw over here, for example, the Cobalt card has a 22% interest rate. So let's put that up to 22%. And let's take a look at some of these numbers, right? And let's say, for example, your balance is $8,000, right? Let's say you have an $8,000 credit card debt that you can't pay off right away. Well, over 1 year of carrying that balance on your Cobalt card at a 22% interest rate, you'd basically be paying $1,760 in interest. Whereas if you transfer that same balance to an MBNA True Line Mastercard, you would only pay the $240 fee because you have to pay a 3% fee, and 3% of $8,000 is $240. You pay that, and then you don't pay any other interest. So look at that difference that makes, right? So from $1,760 to $240, that's basically $1,500 that you saved by making sure you put that huge amount of debt on this other tool that is going to give you a little bit of time to be able to pay it off. And even after the first year of carrying that balance, again, the interest rate is only going to be 13% instead of the 22%. So even if you need more time than that 1 year, even in the second year, of course, it's not going to be as low as this, but it's going to still be a lot less than these kinds of numbers. Now, there are some other options in Canada. There's a couple of other balance transfer cards. But by far, as you can see, the MBNA True Line Mastercard is the best. There's a Scotiabank Value Visa card, BMO Cashback Mastercard. There's the Tangerine Money Back Credit Card. These cards don't offer as good a value because they don't have such a long promotional period. The MBNA True Line Mastercard has by far the longest 0% promotional period. In fact, over here, you can take a look at some of these other ones. So for example, the Scotiabank Value Visa card, they offer a 1% promotional rate. So you still pay 1% interest. Of course, it's a lot better than 22%, but it's not zero like the MBNA True Line Mastercard. And of course, you would have that for 9 months. Now, the transfer fee is lower, but again, as you can see, at the end of the day, it ends up being quite a bit more over a full year. The BMO Cashback Mastercard, again, 2% transfer fee, but it does have a 1% rate over 9 months. And the Tangerine Money Back Credit Card has a 2% promotional rate over 6 months and still a 3% transfer fee. So this one's by far the worst one, obviously. The other three, I think the best one is the 0% rate over a full year because you get a full year of just nothing. You can easily pay it off. Now, if you're in a situation where you think you can maybe pay it off in like 2-3 months, then maybe you can look at some of these other cards. But for most people, I think the MBNA True Line Mastercard is just by far the best option. So I highly recommend you check that out if you do have a huge amount of debt on your credit card that you can't pay off right away. And also just keep in mind, you always want to, I know, mistakes happen, things happen, but going forward, I highly recommend you guys to always pay off your balance on time and in full. Never carry a balance on your credit card. Credit cards, as you can see, they have crazy high interest rates. I mean, 22% interest is just crazy. This is borderline like loan shark types of numbers, right? So you definitely don't want to carry a balance. Again, I understand things happen. Just transfer onto an option like an MBNA True Line Mastercard for the time being. Try to pay it off as soon as possible, and just be careful not to end up in this situation again. Now, if you want to check out the MBNA True Line Mastercard, I have a referral link to the card in the description down below, where if you use that link, you'd also be supporting the channel in the meantime, which I always appreciate. And I will also leave a link to my website and also this specific tool where you can go and do the balance transfer calculator thing, see what kind of balance would save you how much over how long, so you can check out all the different cards for yourself. I'll leave a link to that one as well in the description down below. So let me know what you guys think. Have you used any of these cards before? What was the transfer process like? Was it super smooth, or was it like a little bit of a hassle? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, if you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you see more videos like this. And if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and smash the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.